Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day today. I wanted to take some time and give you my thoughts on this little knife right here. This little Kaiser Phasmids. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's Phasmids, which I think is Phasmids. It is a small, super light EDC fixed blade designed by Johan Jordison, I think is how it's pronounced, or Jourdain. Johan Jourdain. He's a South African gentleman who splits his time between being a university video technician and a custom knife maker. And he had this design that he worked with Kaiser on, and I think it's a great collaboration. This knife was actually, there's a buddy of mine who's one of our knife community buddies who's been visiting for the last couple of days, and this happens to be his knife, and I had not seen it yet. So I have been checking it out, and I wanted to give an overview of it to you guys. He put the lanyard on it and a little stainless lanyard bead, which I think fits the knife very, very well. I would probably leave that off for me just because I don't need it necessarily for the grip. And it's very, very light. I would say this might weigh as much as the knife. I'm not sure. But we have a small AEBL full tang with weight relief behind these scales. Micarta scales. You've got a little bit of branding. You've got Kaiser on this side here. You've got these little cutouts for styling in the blade. And on this side you have the Phasmids, which is the name, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, of the knife, and AEBL, the blade steel. And just a great, small, lightweight. Some of the points to me that make it stand out is its feather lightweight. The sheep's foot blade, I really like, and I like this little bit of upward sweep on the belly towards the point there. Again, full tang construction. You've got this kind of tactile pivot point here, which really allows the knife to pivot in your fingers, and you've got really nice thumb jimping right here. So when you combine that finger choil with that jimping, you get a really good grip, whether you're going to use this as a vegetable prep knife, if you're going to use it to skin game, to do detail cuts on things, to break down cardboard, to feather stick to start a fire. There's just a lot of ways that this knife could be employed. Reverse grip, it does have a little bit of a pointy tip, but it does have a good reverse grip. Also you've got a good pull grip if you're cutting rope or something that way. So just a really nice little package, in my opinion. Wanted to do a couple of things. I wanted to cut with it real quick. Again, it's not my knife. It has been used, and I've not stropped it or sharpened it. So, full disclosure. But as I expected, very slicey. It's got a very nice, it's not the thinnest grind I've ever seen in my life, but it has a pretty thin, flat grind, probably about 3/4 flat from the top of that spine. So for a cutter, it cuts very well. I don't know, because of its lightweightness, if I would choose it for a dedicated cardboard breaker downer or a dedicated hard use fixie. What I would put this in my collection as is a super ultra light, great alternative to what I consider a street scalpel. Some of the smaller, either skeletonized light, either neck knives or belt knives that are, for lack of a better term, similar to looking like a street scalpel. Very small, very light, very manageable to hold. I think this guy's around right under 6.5 inches. We'll get some dimensions in a sec, but just a small, light package. It's still got the thickness of blade where I can look at it as a true EDC fixed blade, but I feel when my vibe is screaming street scalpel when I hold this, even though it could be used for a lot more. But like I say, I probably wouldn't choose it for a dedicated cardboard breaker downer or material breaker downer, only because for me, you've got a shorter blade. I think this blade's right around 3 inches, maybe right under, and you've got this very thin grip, which does, not give you the best control for if you're doing repetitive type cutting. Do a couple of quick size comparisons of this guy, and we will just do the, let's see. I think I just have a bug out here that we can look at. Benchmade bug out. And there it is next to a Sharpie. So it's about an inch larger than a Sharpie, about an inch and a half smaller than our bug out. So, I guess about 6 inches, maybe a little bit over. Right over 6 inches, I'd say that's about 6.3 for lack of better terms. The blade is probably 2.8, give or take. Cutting area is exactly 2.5. You've got a very nice sharpening choil that sits well within this plunge grind here. So a nice sharpening choil. This knife will probably be pretty easy to sharpen. The handle as a whole is going to come in right at about 3 1/4. And then the inside handle from the back of the knife to the inside of here, I'm going to give it a very conservative, i.e. it's a little bit longer than this, 3 1/4. So I'm saying from here to here, you've got right over 3 1/4 inches. And on its thinness and weight, our last two measurements, that I think are important. .115, 0.12 thickness overall. I'll try to get it behind the edge, even though I never get it in the right place. 0.0215, that's probably wrong, depending on where I got the measurement. And our thickness in our handle is way down at 0.36. So it's under half an inch, or under an inch, close to half of an inch in size and thickness, which to me is what I was trying to communicate in terms of not having as wide as a handle or as much to grab onto if I was going to be running this through a lot of cardboard, right? So the lanyard is going to add weight. I can tell you because I can feel when I hold the knife, the lanyard has got my balance point way off. So usually the balance is right there. I can get it to balance on the point with the lanyard holes. The lanyard holes, this knife's going to be, my point is, this knife is going to weigh a little bit more than your knife. For example, the spec on this knife says it's right around 1.65 ounces. I've got 1.85 ounces because I've got the difference of that little stainless bead. So 1.85 ounces, the way it's set up, very light. We've got a, what do we say, about a 2.8, 3-inch blade. So I don't know if fixed blades use the same inch per ounce philosophy. I don't think they do, but this would come in right within that because it does work out so well. Small, nimble, very usable in a lot of different grips for a lot of different cutting tasks. My only recommendation would be not to have it be a long time dedicated user for any one task, because again, it might be a little thin on the hand to where the comfort's not that great, and you might want to work with a little larger blade, you might want to work with a little thinner blade or a little thicker blade, depending on what the use is. That's what's the most important question to answer when determining if this is the knife to use for the task is, what am I going to be doing with it, right? I look at this as a great little fixed blade to do my basic stuff, right? Maybe open feed sacks, maybe open cat food, maybe open Amazon packages, maybe cut paracord, maybe do some detail cutting out of some materials. Maybe if I'm camping, using it as a little camp kitchen prep knife, just depending on what my needs are. I think it'll fit a lot of them. There's some that might be limiting, but I think it's a nice little knife. It's the Kizer Phasmids. Again, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but it's Phasmids. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Nice full tang construction on the knife. Great retention on the Kydex sheath. It does have that new little tightening mechanism where you can adjust the retention of the sheath if you want to. My buddy likes to carry his horizontal, so he's got his mounted with the strap, which is pretty cool. But a nice knife. I'm glad to have checked it out. I'm glad to have a review on it. Kizer Phasmids, guys. Thank you for watching. Special thank you for all my channel members who support the channel. Thank you so much. Thank anyone who comes in and watches my knife, my EDC content. You guys mean the most to me. If you're so inclined, give me a like button. Leave a comment. I hear there's a new button there where you can click it and it says hype and it makes more people see the video. That'd be awesome. But most importantly, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please keep an eye out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose to bait, not hate. I love you all. Peace.